The next time you walk into a voting station in South Africa, take a closer look at the ballot paper. Not just at the names you recognize, but at the long list of political parties you've never heard of. Because hidden in that list is a growing political problem that few are willing to confront directly. South Africa may not be suffering from a lack of democracy. It may be suffering from too much political noise and not enough real impact. In recent years, the country's political space has become increasingly crowded, with dozens of small and micro parties entering elections, many of them struggling to gain even a fraction of meaningful voter support. On paper, this looks like a healthy democracy, diverse, open, and inclusive. But in practice, analysts are starting to ask a harder question. What happens when political participation stops translating into political relevance? According to political commentator Richard Anthony Chamali, the issue is not about excluding small parties, but about confronting a reality many prefer to ignore. There is nothing wrong with being a small party, but there is something wrong with offering nothing that connects with the moment. That idea cuts deeper than it first appears, because it challenges not just the existence of small parties, but their purpose. South Africa's electoral system allows even the smallest political formations to appear on the ballot. That openness is a cornerstone of democracy, but it has also created a situation where dozens of parties compete for attention, often with overlapping messages, limited visibility, and little to no national influence. For voters, this creates confusion. For the system, it creates fragmentation. And for governance, it can create instability. Think about it. How many of these parties can the average voter actually explain? How many have clear policies that resonate beyond a narrow base? And more importantly, how many are truly shaping the national conversation? These are uncomfortable questions, but they are necessary. Because democracy is not just about participation, it is about effectiveness. A striking example often raised in this debate is Congress of People, better known as COPE. When it was formed in 2008, it entered the political arena with significant momentum, securing over 1 million votes and establishing itself as a serious contender. But over time, internal conflicts, leadership struggles, and declining visibility eroded that position. Today, COPE's presence in national discourse is minimal, and its identity, once clear, has become uncertain. At some point, a party must ask itself whether it still matters. If the answer is unclear, then the problem is already obvious. And COPE is not alone. Across the political spectrum, there are numerous small parties that continue to operate despite consistently low voter support. Many of them appear during election cycles, campaign briefly, and then fade from public attention. Their impact remains limited, their visibility remains low, yet they persist. This raises a critical issue. Is persistence enough, or does democracy require something more? Jamali argues that political maturity involves recognizing when a strategy is no longer working. If a party cannot connect with voters, it must either reinvent itself or reconsider its place, he suggests. This is not about silencing voices, it is about strengthening them, because a fragmented political landscape does not necessarily empower voters, it can overwhelm them. There is also a practical side to this debate. At the municipal level, where coalitions often determine governance, the presence of multiple small parties can complicate decision-making. Fragile alliances, shifting loyalties, and competing agendas can slow down progress and affect service delivery. Coalitions are already complex. Add too many small players with limited mandates, and stability becomes harder to achieve. And when governance slows down, the impact is felt directly by citizens, through delayed services, through unresolved issues, through missed opportunities. But critics of this argument warn against drawing the wrong conclusion. They point out that small parties often represent niche interests or emerging ideas that larger parties may overlook. In that sense, they play a vital role in keeping democracy dynamic and responsive. The value of a party is not always measured in votes. Sometimes it is measured in the ideas it introduces. That perspective is important because it reminds us that democracy is not just about numbers, it is about voices. Still, the challenge remains. When too many voices speak without coordination, the message can become unclear, and when the message is unclear, voters disengage. So what is the solution? No one is suggesting that small parties should be banned or excluded. That would undermine the very principles of democracy. But there is a growing argument that these parties must evolve, they must collaborate, they must differentiate themselves, and most importantly, they must prove their relevance. In many democracies around the world, smaller parties form alliances or merge to increase their influence. In South Africa, such strategies are less common, with many parties choosing to remain independent despite limited success. This raises a fundamental question. Is independence always strength, or can unity sometimes be more powerful? Because at the end of the day, politics is not just about being present, it is about being effective. As South Africa moves closer to future elections, this conversation is likely to intensify. Voters are becoming more informed, more critical, and more demanding. They are not just looking for representation, they are looking for results. And results require more than participation. They require strategy, they require leadership, they require impact. Chumali's argument ultimately points to a simple but powerful truth. Political parties must earn their place, not just on the ballot, but in the lives of the people they claim to represent. And that's where the real test begins, because in a democracy, survival is not guaranteed. Relevance is.